poem titled The Noble and the Brave by Joanna Fruit. The noble and the brave, a Veterans Day tribute. When America had an urgent need, these brave ones raised their hand. No hesitation held them back. They were proud to take a stand. They left their friends and family. They gave up normal life. To serve their country and their God, they plowed into the strife. They fought for freedom and for peace on strange and foreign shores. Some lost new friends, some lost their lives in long and brutal wars. Other veterans answered a call to support the ones who fought. Their country had requirements for the essential skills they brought. We salute every one of them, the noble and the brave, the ones still with us here today, and those who rest in the grave. So here's to our country's heroes. They are cut above the rest. Let's give the honor that is due to our country's bravest.
This time, we will be recognizing all the members of the military who are here with us today, including active and retired military veterans. Please come forward and receive a token of our appreciation as your name is called. Brad Baker served in the U.S. Air Force for 30 years. Drew Baker served in the U.S. Air Force for 6 years. John Burke served in the U.S. Air Force and Army for 10 years. Jack Carr served in the U.S. Navy for 6 years. David Dimitriadis served in the U.S. Navy for 8 years. Harry Hutton Jr. served in the U.S. Army for 6 years. Scott Kennedy served in the U.S. Marines for 18 years. Charles Macker served in the U.S. Coast Guard for 20 years. Carissa Dimitriadis served in the U.S. Navy for 8 years. Jerry Morris served in the U.S. Marines for 4 years active duty and 2 years reserve duty. Rex Points served in the U.S. Navy for 2 years active duty and 4 years reserve duty. Mark Stanball served in U.S. Army for 2 years. Christopher Ziegler served in the U.S. Army for 3 years. Eric Capps served in the the U.S. Navy for 7 years.
Today we have the privilege of welcoming our guest speaker, retired Chief Master Sergeant Brad Baker. Chief Master Sergeant Baker is a native of Edgewood, Kentucky, and a graduate of Dixie Heights High School. He retired after serving 30 years as a member of the United States Air Force, which included 11 assignments all over the world. He was a member of the 5 contingency deployments in support of Desert Storm Bosnia operation, and during Freedom in Operation Iraq Freedom, Chief Master Sergeant Baker resides in Independence, Kentucky. Please join me in welcoming Brad Baker.
I'll try to keep this short and sweet and make it into like a military briefing. I'm going to tell you, give you an introduction, a few key points, and then we'll wrap it up. Get on with the day. Some of you might wonder why we joined the military. Well, mine was pretty easy. I had everything given to me. I decided to go to school at UK, had a very good time. My grades were, and the parents said, we're not throwing good money after bad. So I came home and decided, what am I going to do? I went to work at a liquor store. I was going nowhere. My parents said, why don't you join the military? I said, nope. Nobody's going to tell me what to do 24/7, 365 days a year. I slowly went down to the recruiter's office a few times and met them back when they had it down in Covington, and decided I would join the Air Force. And I will give it 4 years. I'm going to get a skill. I can get out and be a productive member of society. My first assignment, or my first 4 years, I went to school for a year. I went to Austin, Texas for a year. I went to Korea for a year. And I went to Colorado Springs for the 4th year. And within that time in Korea, I spent 100 days in the Philippines, which was a really good time, especially for a young single fellow. I decided, they said, well, your time is about up. You want to plan on re-enlisting? I wasn't planning on doing it. But I'd had so much fun in that previous 3 years, I decided, yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Advanced 24 years from that day, I retired after 30 years. I had some great times, met some very interesting people, and was all over the world. I'm going to tell you about a few places I went. I was a young NCO, or young sergeant, stationed down in Warner Robins, Georgia, and they selected me to be on an advance team to go do site surveys for communications over in Egypt. I thought that was pretty good. I was a young guy. Well, I was younger in the ranks, and the Air Force sent me off on my own to go do site surveys for a large major exercise that happens in Egypt every 2 years. And I was pretty impressed that they give a young person in the ranks like me that much authority to make decisions on where we're going to set up communications gear in Cairo, Egypt, and other places around Egypt. So I thought that was pretty cool. They said, you also need to be carrying some crypto equipment or some crypto tapes for folks over there in Cairo that are running active missions in Somalia. Well, I thought, well, that would be kind of interesting. I carried this little key tapes, and they put in the crypto gear, so the enemy can't get our communications. They said, you can't sleep while you have this equipment, and you can't let it get x-rayed at airports. I'm flying through Frankfurt, or DC, Frankfurt, and then eventually down to Cairo. Had some interesting ideas with that. They said, you'll meet the guys in Cairo once you come outside the airport. This is like a third world area. Come out there, there's thousands of people screaming and yelling, and I'm looking for 2 Americans that are there at the airport to pick me up. So I said, let me show you ID cards. I gave them to them. We're on the civilian boat. We're not in uniforms. We go ahead, we do the exchange stuff. I'm like, get this stuff out of my face. it was I thought it was kind of an interesting thing over there. I went to Qatar on my last deployment before I retired. I told my boss, I said, I want one more deployment before I retire. He says, just ride it out, Chief, and ride off in the sunset. I said, no, one more deployment or I'll find one. So I ended up going to Qatar, which wasn't all that good of a deployment, but I got to fly up into Afghanistan, fly up into Iraq, fly down to UAE. Really good deployment for my last trip in the Air Force. I think I'm gonna wrap this up now. Let you know about where I've been, what I did in the Air Force, and had a great time in my 30 years. Understand. I'm going to break from this. Understand we have some folks, some young adults here that will be going into enlisting in the military after high school. Could you stand and be recognized? I wish you guys a good enlistment, you guys and gals a good enlistment. If it's 4 years or you make a career out of it, I wish that it meets all your needs. I shouldn't be saying I'm tired. I'm sorry for that. It's Veterans Day, and it's nice when you tell us veterans, thank you for your service. But I look at it this way, thank you for being good citizens. It makes it worthwhile fighting for. We didn't join because we hate that guy or gal in front of our sights on our weapons. It's because we love the folks behind us. So with that, thank you all so much.